Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Suggestions for a closed season for Conch, but what do fishermen have to say about that?
A former Christian council president has been called in to help mediate talks with healthcare unions.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Garbage collection crews contracted by the Department of Environmental Health still feeling the brunt of the holiday demand as many residents throughout New Providence haven't had their trash collected for weeks. And in an interview with Our News tonight, the director in the department is seeking to give a bit of clarification as to why and what to expect in the coming weeks. If you haven't had your garbage collected for at least 2 weeks, there is an explanation, according to the director in the Department of Environmental Health Services.
Actually, there was no backup until the last week of Christmas. And I hear people with the 4 weeks, but that's not so. We changed contractors, we changed routes. We also we're trying to go to twice a week collection. Christmas is always heavy.
While many were able to have their garbage collected from in front of their home on time, there were those, like several houses we visited in southwestern New Providence today, who weren't as fortunate. There have been complaints from residents in the western portion of the island and some in the east saying their garbage has gotten so high, stray dogs have begun reaching in and making a mess.
There may be persons, however, who have not had garbage collection last week, because we do know in the west we are behind. So there are some persons in the Kalani area, unfortunately, who have not received their last week's collection. And that's being addressed today. There's also a small portion of Centerville.
He said by Tuesday, everyone should have had their garbage collected. But aside from the seasonal challenges, McKinsey said some residents have made it difficult for the garbage collectors.
Where the truck might have come on an hour unfamiliar to you, so your garbage was not available to them. They will not be opening your gate and going to get your garbage. They won't be able to unlock your gate and get your garbage. If your car is parked in front of it, they won't be able to access it.
Come next month, garbage will be collected twice per week. The director said she will release a schedule in the coming weeks. But McKinsey's also reminding those with apartment buildings with more than 3 units or commercial buildings that as of January 1st, they must now seek the services of a private garbage collector.
Actually, that has been the law for some time. From the solid waste regulations passed in 2004, it's been the law. We simply have not enforced it. We've encouraged people to go out, but encouragement isn't working. The government is then having to bear the cost of a commercial entity being collected. Now, commercial entities aren't collected by government. If you had a shop, which is also a commercial entity, you wouldn't expect the government to collect you. And it's the same thing for households. If it's that volume of garbage, you have to you're collecting monies you're meant to.
With the results of a 10-year Conch study showing that the prized marine resource could be locally depleted in 10 to 15 years, stakeholders from all sectors are sounding off on the issue. Jared Higgs has more.
It's not a surprise. Is it alarming? Absolutely.
Executive Director of the Bahamas National Trust, Eric Carey, says the revelations by the Chicago-based Shad Aquarium Group were not a surprise to the BNT, which has been sounding the alarm on reduced conch numbers for nearly 8 years.
We've been watching this species decline. We've been doing public outreach. We've been doing stakeholder engagement. We've been talking to successive administrations about conch.
In a statement, Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Michael Pintard says his ministry has concluded and will be strongly recommending to stakeholders that we implement a minimum conch lip thickness for conch to be harvested. The statement adds we must seriously look at the possibility of ending the export of conch, and we must increase the equipment and personnel available to ensure compliance with the fisheries laws. Carey says the BNT has made several of the recommendations listed by Pintard, and if fishermen are being honest, they would agree too.
There's some people who do not want to admit that there's a problem, but most of the honest fishermen will tell us, yes, we're facing issues. We have to go further for conch. We're finding fewer mature conchs close to our traditional fishing grounds. We have to go deeper, and that, we got to do something about it.
While BNT officials were concerned about the research findings, fishermen we spoke to were a bit more divided in their opinions.
There's no shortage of conch because you could never get all the conch because the conch be buried in the sand. So they just try to put a ban on conch, put a season on conch, so that's the reason why they're saying that. But you can't get rid of the conch. You got millions of conch in one area.
Aaron Ferguson has been diving for conch for 40 years. Many of his fellow fishermen have been farming the seas as long as he has, and many agree with his finding that there isn't a shortage in supply. Have you noticed a shortage in the conch that you go to dive for?
Never. You have to travel much further if you want to find, better product. Not only in conch, also in lobster and also in fish too. But conch, most definitely, there is a shortage in conch.
I don't see no shortage. Like I say, conch come up twice a year probably. Summer conch, winter conch. Now what they could do is outlaw skin conch and just let everyone bring the conch to town in the shell.
Pintard's statement also noted that his ministry is prepared to discuss with stakeholders the possibility of a closed season and any other reasonable proposals, adding that in all cases consultation will occur. However, when asked for their views on the possibility of a closed season, several fishermen expressed concern.
What are we supposed to do? Do some essay. But boy, I think you're about to twice the close conch season. Because it's just what we really need. You're close. You have a season, you haven't closed. You should be all close down the sea.
One like me, it would affect me drastically because all we want is conch. We know nothing else could run conch.
They say that, okay, you can only conch, you can only fish for conch or dive for conch between these months in the year. How will it affect you?
Big time. Again, raw bite.
While many who rely on conch for their livelihood couldn't envision a closed season, others saw things another way.
I don't think it really would affect my livelihood. We just have to respect, it's like you go into work, you have to respect your environment wherever you work. So, that's part of something I think we should do still.
In order for it to be around for next season and the next generation, if you don't do that, you won't have nothing. Plus you have the poachers coming in. You got to look at what they're taking out.
Several fishermen expressed support for legislation that would outlaw the harvesting of conch without its shell, a process known as skinning. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks, Jared. Well, the Minutes administration has enlisted the help of former Christian Council President Reverend Dr. Ranford Patterson to assist in mediating ongoing issues between healthcare officials and those unions. That's according to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who admitted that despite the recent calm, there are still numerous unresolved matters. Jasmine Brown reports.
The health minister says Patterson has been called in as backup to help solve those still unresolved issues.
We have invited the assistance of Reverend Ransford Patterson to act as a mediator of sorts in the union issues, and he should be starting that work almost immediately.
When asked why the Minutes administration decided to bring in a mediator, Sands said they needed an impartial party to help get over the impasse.
I believe that we have accepted an all hands on deck approach. When we're dealing with union issues, bear in mind that they impact the lives of all Bahamians. And certainly to have an individual who is able to look at this thing from a different point of view, together with professionals in health, those senior civil servants in government, and with the union representatives, perhaps that figure can be seen to be somewhat independent and impartial.
Asked whether he believes Patterson, who is being paid for the post, will do what health officials could not over the past year, Sands gave this response.
This is a process, and whatever activity or actions can be brought to the table in good faith, I think would all go well for successful outcome. Nobody really benefits from industrial action. I'm talking about the public, mind you. And so if we can avoid having to walk that plank, avoid having to walk that road, then the public would probably be left with a bit more confidence.
According to the health minister, the former Christian Council president's first order of business is speaking with leaders of the Bahamas Doctors Union. In September, junior physicians demonstrated in front of PMH, claiming that they were being denied key benefits like holiday pay. The BDU was just one of several healthcare unions to express major concerns last year. In fact, 2018 proved to be a tough year for healthcare after it was on the brink of a complete shutdown due to industrial action by nurses and doctors. In November, the Consultant Physician Staff Association withdrew its services for all non-emergency services from Princess Margaret Hospital. Months earlier in late April, more than 200 nurses throughout the Bahamas called in sick, forcing many clinics to turn away patients. The unrest even prompted Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis to step in and meet with union officials. The CPSA is the only group to have their issues resolved and an agreement signed. Sands says the Minnis administration is doing all it can to ensure this year is not a repeat of last year.
We are working very, very hard to avoid some of the challenges that we had in 2018. Many of the issues of nursing, the issues of consultants, the issues of junior doctors, which are all very unique, will be addressed proactively as they have been, but we're going to make even more of an effort.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, 2 men are behind bars tonight after being charged with a $500,000 drug bust. With more on this, here's Jillian Gray.
2 men were brought before the magistrate's court on drug-related charges. 22-year-old Ernest Knowles in the green shirt and 44-year-old Nuri Newton in the orange shirt were charged with 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs and 1 count of conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs. According to police reports, it was shortly after 8 p.m. on Wednesday when officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit acted on intelligence and went to a residence in Golden Gates. Officers conducted a search of a white van on the property and found 19 crocus sack bags and 1 taped package of suspected marijuana, weighing 545 pounds. The drugs have an estimated street value of $545,000. According to the court, a 39-year-old male is still outstanding in this matter. Knowles and Newton both pled not guilty to all charges and were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections till April 5th. Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
It is possible the results for the 2018 Boxing Day and 2019 New Year's Day Junkanoo parades can change after the investigation into alleged corruption among judges during the parades wraps up, according to Junkanoo Corruption of New Providence Chairman Silbert Ferguson. The Junkanoo world has been rocked by controversy after several voice notes and WhatsApp screenshots surfaced alleging bribery among judges during the 2 previous parades. Our News spoke with the JCNP chairman immediately following a meeting with his team, and he said there should be a conclusion very soon.
You know, we have had sponsors, groups, competitors, the public. Everybody has viewed this parade. For a few bad apples to cause us to drain our entire year, it's crazy, okay? If we find that persons were involved in this egregious act, we will just have their scores removed from these parades and then let the chips fall where they may.
One Family Warriors won the Boxing Day parade and the Valley Boys came out on top New Year's Day. But all that could change after the police's investigation is wrapped up, according to Ferguson. Now, there is no telling whether anyone will be taken into police custody, but the JCNP chairman said police are involved. The prize money for a group winning the A category is $24,000, which was doubled this year by the government. But no group has gotten its money as yet. Ferguson said this unfortunate issue brings about an opportunity to fix things in Junkanoo.
Corruption in Junkanoo has not just started, if it is there. It has always been talked about, and so this is the first time that we are able to reach out and hear it and touch it. Okay, and so now this is a great opportunity for Junkanoo. It's a great opportunity because whatever is wrong, it's time to right it. Okay, and it takes all of the persons out there, those same special interests who have a lot to say. This is their opportunity now to get involved.
Still to come on our news, the Ministry of Health commencing its STEP survey. Find out more after the break.